Have you ever found yourself saying, maybe on a tough day, the only constant is change? Just sort of, tossing it out there.
It's one of those phrases, isn't it? It almost feels like a reflex sometimes.
Exactly. But what if we stopped for a second? What if that simple, maybe even cliche phrase holds like the deepest truth about everything, about the whole universe?
It's not just a saying, but more like the fundamental operating system.
Yeah, that's what we're getting into today. Welcome to a new Mag Talk from English Plus podcast. Today, we're going deep. We're not just talking about change, we're pulling back all the layers on this huge paradox.
It is a paradox when you think about it.
We'll look at where the idea came from, way back in ancient philosophy.
And then how modern science just, spectacularly backs it up, from the tiniest particles to massive galaxies.
And most importantly, what does all this constant churning mean for you? For navigating your own life, the messy, amazing, sometimes confusing journey we're all on.
That's the key, I think. What does it mean practically? Because it's fascinating how something often just waved away as a platitude.
Like bumper sticker wisdom, yeah.
Right. How that actually acts like a fundamental law. It guides everything from, like you said, the slow dance of galaxies over billions of years.
Billions. It's mind-boggling.
Right down to the frantic flutter of your own heart. Beat by beat, cell by cell, constantly renewing.
So it's everywhere.
Absolutely. And that makes it both.
Yeah.
Deeply unsettling, destabilizing even.
Yeah, because nothing stays the same.
But also, and this is the paradox, it's strangely comforting. Understanding it, really getting it, can be like a survival guide for living in a world that's just always moving.
A survival guide. I like that. Okay, so let's unpack this. This isn't just a clever saying for a poster.
No, definitely not.
The idea that the only thing that never changes is change itself.
Yes.
Well, it might just be the most fundamental law there is.
It's this perfect little circle, isn't it? A self-referential truth. We call it the most reliable paradox.
Yeah.
Because its consistency is, ironically, its inconsistency.
It's the one thing you can actually count on. Change happening.
And when we say it applies universally, we really mean universally. Think cosmically for a second. Galaxies aren't just static blobs of stars, right?
No, they crash into each other, merge.
Exactly. They interact, evolve over these immense timescales, constantly reshaping themselves. Billions of years of dynamic transformation. It's not a fixed picture.
Okay, so that's the huge scale. What about us?
Bring it right down. Think about your heart beating. Each beat is unique, technically. A slightly different electrical pattern, muscular response.
Never exactly the same twice.
Or just the cells in your body, constantly dying, being replaced. You're literally not the same physical person you were a month ago, or even yesterday in some ways.
Wow. So from galaxies down to our cells, it's just constant flux.
That's the rhythm.
And that really highlights that dual nature you mentioned. Because, let's be honest, on one hand, that's deeply destabilizing.
Oh, absolutely.
The idea that nothing is permanent. Not the good times, not the bad times, not your job, your home, maybe even relationships.
Yeah.
Not even the ground under our feet, as we'll get to. It can feel really unnerving.
Because our brains crave stability.
Yeah.
We're kind of wired that way through evolution.
Yeah, we want things to be predictable. We build routines, make plans.
We try to create solid ground. We build psychological structures, habits, worldviews, trying to nail things down.
But the universe is just not like that. It keeps moving.
And that's the core tension, isn't it? Our wiring, our programming evolved for a world where maybe predictability was survival. Recognizing patterns, knowing where the safe spots are.
Made sense back then.
Totally. The universe itself, reality itself, operates on this constant flux. So understanding that mismatch, realizing our discomfort with change, is partly just old software running on new, fluid hardware. That's a huge first step.
It explains why transitions can feel so hard sometimes. We're fighting our own wiring as much as the change itself.
Exactly. We're fighting the current.
Okay, but then, the other side of the coin, the paradox.
The comforting party.
Yeah, because if nothing lasts, well, that means the bad stuff doesn't last either.
Right. That awful feeling, that tough situation, that anxiety that feels like it'll never end.
The feeling of being completely stuck.
It's all part of the flow. It has to change. It will pass. There's a kind of, cosmic reassurance in that.
It's like knowing the tide will turn. If you're stuck in the mud flat, you know the water will come back eventually.
Exactly. It takes away that feeling of terrible finality from difficult moments. It reminds you that everything's a phase. It's not just, wishful thinking. It's how things actually work.
So just take a second now, as you're listening. Think about this paradox. Which side resonates more with you right now? The destabilizing part, the uncertainty, Or the comforting part, the knowledge that even tough times will pass? Why? Your answer might tell you something about where you are right now. Okay, let's trace this idea back. Way back. To really get its roots, we need to travel to ancient Greece around 500 BCE.
We're talking 2,500 years ago. No telescopes, no labs.
Just brilliant minds trying to figure out the nature of reality itself. How did they even start?
Well, in a city called Ephesus, on the coast of modern-day Turkey, there was this philosopher, Heraclitus, often called the Obscure because his writings were famously dense and riddle-like, cryptic aphorisms.
So not exactly straightforward.
Not at all. And unlike a lot of his peers, the other pre-Socratics who were asking, what's the basic stuff everything's made of? Is it water, air, something else?
The search for the fundamental substance.
Right. Heraclitus was obsessed with something different. Not what the world was made of, but what it was doing.
What it was doing.
Yeah. And his radical conclusion, everything is moving.
Yeah.
All the time. Constant flux.
That feels like a huge leap for that time.
It was. His core idea is often summed up as pantare. Everything flows. Simple, but profound. And he nailed it with that famous line, maybe you heard it, no man ever steps in the same river twice.
For it's not the same river and he's not the same man.
It sounds deep, but what does it really mean?
Let's break it down because it's genius in its simplicity. First, the river. You step in, right? The water touching your foot is instantly gone downstream.
Swept away, replaced by new water.
They step in again a second later. It's a completely different batch of water molecules. The river looks like the same river, has the same name, same place on the map.
But its actual substance is changing constantly, moment to moment.
It's not a static thing, it's an event, a happening. Like trying to point at a cloud. You can say that cloud, but it's constantly shifting, reforming, made of different water vapor molecules than it was a second ago.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
But Heraclitus adds that crucial second part, and he's not the same man.
Okay, this is where it gets really personal.
It does. Because in those few moments between your first step and your second step, you have changed too.
How so?
Well, biologically, new cells are born, old ones die. Think about your skin cells constantly replacing themselves. But also mentally, psychologically, you've had new thoughts, maybe a fleeting emotion, a new sensation. Your brain chemistry has shifted slightly.
So even in tiny ways, I'm different from one moment to the next.
In microscopic but undeniable ways, yes.
Yeah.
You're a different person stepping into that different river. It challenges our whole idea of a fixed self, a stable identity.
Wow. Okay, so if everything is flowing, constantly changing, what did Heraclitus think was, driving it? What's the engine?
For him, it was something called the logos.
Logos, like logic or reason.
Sort of, but maybe deeper than that. Not just a set of rules, but the embedded active ordering principle within the flux. It's the reason why things change in an orderly, rhythmic way, not just complete chaos.
So the underlying pattern in the change.
Exactly. And the best representation of this logos for Heraclitus was fire.
Fire. Why fire?
Think about it. Fire is never still. It consumes, it flickers, it transforms solid fuel into light, heat, ash. It is process. It's not a thing, it's a happening, a dynamic force.
It's always changing, yet it persists.
Precisely. He even said the world itself is an ever-living fire, constantly kindling and extinguishing itself in this managed cycle. It embodies that unity of opposites, creation and destruction happening at the same time, driving change.
That's such a different way of looking at things compared to searching for something solid and unchanging.
It really was a radical departure. Most philosophers were looking for the permanent foundation, the arch. Heraclitus basically said, what if the foundation is the change itself?
So the only constant really is change.
This raises that big question. What if the most fundamental truth isn't a fixed state, but this eternal process of becoming? For Heraclitus, the universe isn't a noun, it's a verb.
Not a photo, but a movie.
Exactly, a constantly unfolding story. And this idea, even though Heraclitus himself was seen as obscure, it really resonated. It influenced Plato, who wrestled with how to reconcile this flux with permanence. It influenced the Stoics, who believed accepting the flow of nature was key to wisdom.
So his ideas had legs, even if he was a bit enigmatic.
A huge impact on Western thought, definitely. That core idea of perpetual change just stuck.
So let me ask you listening. Does this idea that you are constantly changing moment by moment your very self, does that feel more liberating? Or maybe more unsettling? It's a big thought to chew on. Okay, so that's the ancient wisdom, the philosophical intuition. Fast forward 2.5 millennia. What does modern science have to say about Heraclitus' big idea?
Well, it turns out he was startlingly right, like uncannily accurate, considering he didn't have, seismographs or telescopes or DNA sequencing.
Science has basically just piled up the evidence.
Mountains of it, across every field imaginable. Change isn't just a feature of the universe. It seems to be the fundamental operating principle.
Let's start with the ground beneath our feet. Seems solid, right? Dependable.
Our ultimate symbol of stability, we build everything on it.
But geology tells a very different story.
Oh yeah. Plate tectonics completely changed our understanding. The continents aren't fixed, they're like giant rafts.
Floating on the Earth's molten mantle.
Exactly. Drifting, colliding, pulling apart at about the speed your fingernails grow.
A few centimeters a year. Doesn't sound like much, but over millions of years.
It reshapes the entire planet. Creates mountains, oceans, triggers earthquakes, volcanoes. North America and Europe are still moving apart right now.
So the map is constantly, subtly being redrawn.
And even those mountains, symbols of permanence.
Yeah, solid as a rock.
They're pushed up over millions of years by those colliding plates, sure. But at the same time, wind, rain, ice, they're constantly grinding them down.
Erosion, patient, relentless work.
Turning granite peaks eventually into sand. That sand gets washed into rivers, maybe ends up on the ocean floor, maybe gets compressed back into rock deep underground.
So even mountains are just temporary features on a geological timescale.
Absolutely. Stability, from that perspective, is just a very, very short snapshot in a long movie. What looks permanent to us is just a brief pause in the geological dance.
Okay, so the Earth itself is in constant motion. What about life on Earth?
Biology is maybe the most dramatic example of Heraclitus' river in action. Darwin's theory of evolution. That's basically it.
Evolution by natural selection.
Right. Life isn't fixed. Species aren't static, created once and forever. It's this incredible, sprawling, branching tree of constant gradual transformation.
Driven by what? How does it work?
Tiny, random changes. Mutations happen in genes all the time. Most don't do much or are harmful. But every now and then, a mutation gives an organism a slight edge.
Better camouflage, maybe? Resistance to a disease? Ability to digest a new food?
Exactly. Anything that helps it survive a little better or reproduce a little more successfully in its environment, that trait gets passed on.
And over generations.
Over millions of years. These tiny advantages add up, they accumulate, leading to new adaptations, new forms, eventually entirely new species.
So every living thing, including us,
is like an ephemeral masterpiece sculpted by billions of years of nonstop change. Think about our own ancestors adapting to changing climates, different food sources, new predators. Our existence is proof of this constant adaptation.
And we're still evolving, right? It's not like humans reached some finish line.
Absolutely not. That idea of a final form is just an illusion based on our short lifespans. We're just one frame in the ongoing movie of life. There's evidence for recent human evolution all the time.
Okay, Earth, life. What about the really big picture, the cosmos?
This is where it gets really mind-blowing. For centuries, we looked up and saw permanence. The stars seemed fixed, eternal. The heavens were unchanging.
That was the dominant view for a long time.
Until the 20th century. Edwin Hubble.
Hubble's big discovery.
He observed that distant galaxies are moving away from us. And the further away they are, the faster they're going.
Proving the universe isn't static.
It's expanding. And it has been since the very beginning of the Big Bang, about 13.8 billion years ago.
So from this tiny, incredibly hot, dense point,
it burst outwards. And it's been expanding, cooling, and changing ever since. Stars form from gas and dust clouds.
They burn for millions or billions of years.
Then they die, often in huge explosions, supernovas.
And those explosions are crucial, right?
Absolutely crucial. They scatter heavy elements, carbon, oxygen, iron, all the stuff needed for planets and people across the cosmos. Those elements then get incorporated into new stars, new planets.
So we're literally made of stardust, the remnants of past cosmic change.
We are. The atoms in your body were forged in the hearts of long-dead stars. It connects us directly to this cosmic cycle of change.
So this raises that question again. If the entire universe is this grand, unfolding story with no final chapter, just constant transformation, how does that change how we see ourselves, our own lives?
It puts things in perspective, doesn't it? The universe isn't a finished painting. It's an ongoing creation. We're living right in the middle of one of its chapters. There's no ultimate static state, just this perpetual becoming.
It's humbling, but also kind of connecting.
I find it so. It suggests that change isn't some flaw or problem to be fixed. It's the fundamental nature of reality itself, echoing Heraclitus across the millennia.
So think about that. All this scientific evidence, moving continents, evolving life, and expanding universe, does it make you feel small and insignificant? Or does it make you feel powerfully connected to this vast, ongoing cosmic dance? Maybe it's a bit of both. Okay, let's bring this cosmic principle right down to our everyday lives. Because if change is the law of the universe, it is absolutely the defining feature of being human.
No question. We are not separate from this flow. We're right in the middle of it.
From the day we're born, we're navigating shifts. Some huge, some tiny, but all shaping who we are.
Think about the big ones, like the sheer awkwardness of adolescence, your body changing, your identity shifting.
Feeling like a different person week to week.
Or later, maybe watching your kids leave home. That bittersweet ache. Starting a new career. Moving across the country.
Relationships beginning, ending.
Facing unexpected illness. Life is just a series of hellos and goodbyes.
Hellos and goodbyes to different versions of ourselves, too. The me from 5 years ago feels quite different from the me now.
And that's not just perception. It's real. Biologically, psychologically, circumstantially real.
But we fight it so often, don't we? We crave that stability.
We do. We build routines, seek security, buy houses, try to create permanence. We're trying to build that solid ground in Heraclitus' river.
Trying to nail down the future.
And it's fascinating how deep that craving runs, yet how often reality just doesn't cooperate. We resist change because it's the unknown.
And the unknown feels scary. Primal survival instinct kicking in.
Exactly. It pushes us out of our comfort zone, messes up our plans, forces us to adapt, often before we feel ready.
And that resistance, that's where a lot of the pain comes from.
I think so. Psychologically, the suffering often isn't from the change itself, but from our resistance to it. We burn so much energy fighting the inevitable current.
Like trying to hold back the tide.
You just get exhausted and battered.
And, in our time, this feeling seems amplified. The pace of change feels faster than ever.
Oh, absolutely. Largely driven by technology, right? The acceleration is undeniable.
Think about someone born mid-century, say 1950.
Right. In one lifetime, they've seen widespread TV becoming common.
The space race. Mind-blowing at the time.
Personal computers arriving, changing work and home life.
Then the internet fundamentally rewiring society.
Smartphones putting the internet in everyone's pocket, changing how we interact, navigate everything.
And now AI, which feels like another massive shift is already underway.
It's dizzying. Entire industries pop up and disappear. Skills that were valuable 10 years ago might be obsolete now.
You have to keep learning, keep adapting just to keep up.
It's this constant need to reskill, upskill. It's relentless.
And this tech acceleration is that double-edged sword you mentioned.
Totally. Huge benefits, obviously. Conveniences we take for granted, medical breakthroughs, instant global connection, access to information.
And unimaginable a few generations ago.
But the flip side is that sense of perpetual whiplash.
Yeah. Constantly learning new software, new ways of doing things, new social rules online.
Dealing with information overload, privacy concerns, the feeling of being always on.
The weird paradox of being hyper-connected digitally, but maybe feeling more isolated personally.
Right. So to be human now, in the 21st century, means being a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, you're always adapting.
So think about your own life. What's one technology that has really changed how you live? Your habits? Maybe even how you see yourself? And how did that change feel?
Exciting. Overwhelming. A mix. Okay, so here's the crucial question. If this river of change is just going to keep flowing, and we know we can't stop it, how do we learn to swim? Or maybe even, how do we learn to surf? How do we navigate it?
Yeah, how do we live with all this constant change without being constantly anxious or feeling totally drained? Especially when those big personal waves hit.
The job loss, the breakup, the move, the illness, the personal tsunamis.
Those moments where the current feels like it's going to pull you under.
And our first instinct, that hardwired reaction, is often just to resist, to build that dam in our minds, deny it, cling to the past.
Wish things were different, fight reality.
It's natural.
Yeah.
But as we've seen, it's often futile and just adds to the suffering. The real pain often comes from that internal battle against what is.
So the core message seems to be, the real work isn't stopping the river, it's learning how to navigate it.
Learning how to swim, or maybe even learning to build a better boat. That's resilience.
Resilience. Okay, what does that really mean in this context?
It's that ability to bend without breaking, to adapt creatively when things get tough, and crucially, to actually grow from the challenges, to turn setbacks into learning opportunities.
So resilient people don't avoid hardship.
Not at all. They might even face more, but they have a different relationship with it. They tend to accept the reality first, even if it's painful. Then they look for meaning in the struggle. What can be learned? How can this make me stronger or wiser? It's called post-traumatic growth sometimes.
Finding the opportunity within the difficulty.
Exactly. And they improvise. They figure out new ways forward. They understand deep down that they won't be the same person after the flood.
And that the new person might actually be stronger.
Potentially, yes. More capable, maybe more compassionate, with a deeper understanding gained through experience. It's about transformation, not just getting through it.
Okay, so how do we do that? What are some practical ways to build that resilience, to shift from resisting change to embracing it?
Well, one really powerful tool is mindfulness.
Mindfulness. We hear that word a lot. What does it mean here?
It's about intentionally anchoring yourself in the present moment, paying attention right here, right now, to your breath, sounds, physical sensations.
Okay, how does that help with change?
By being present, you can observe the flow of thoughts, emotions, and circumstances without getting totally swept away. You can notice fear or anxiety arise without letting it hijack your whole system.
So you see the wave coming, but you don't automatically get knocked over by it?
Kind of. It gives you that little bit of space, that anchor. You can acknowledge the feeling, there's anxiety, without becoming the anxiety. It helps you experience the river without drowning.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
Cultivating a growth mindset. This idea comes from psychologist Carol Dweck.
Growth mindset versus fixed mindset.
Exactly. A fixed mindset believes your abilities, your intelligence are just fixed traits. You've got what you've got. A growth mindset believes you can develop your abilities through dedication, effort, learning.
How does that connect to resilience?
It completely reframes challenges. If you have a fixed mindset, a challenge feels threatening. It might expose your limitations. If you have a growth mindset, a challenge is an opportunity to learn, to get better, to stretch yourself.
So change isn't a threat, it's a chance to evolve.
Precisely. It turns the fear of change into fuel for personal growth.
Like seeing yourself as someone who can learn new skills, not someone stuck with old ones. That's empowering.
Very much so.
Right.
Third strategy, build strong, adaptable support systems.
Our relationships.
Absolutely. Our connections with family, friends, mentors, community, they are crucial anchors in a turbulent world.
Knowing you're not alone in the storm.
Exactly. Having people who listen, offer perspective, share their own experiences, maybe just offer practical help. It makes navigating transitions so much easier. You need a good crew for your boat.
Makes sense. And you mentioned one more, maybe the hardest one.
Yeah, perhaps the most challenging, but also maybe the most liberating. Learning to let go.
Let go of what?
Of our tight grip on how we think things should be. Letting go of rigid expectations. Letting go of dwelling on the past we can't change. Or trying to control a future we can't predict. Accepting things as they are, right now.
That sounds like giving up, though. Isn't it passive?
Not necessarily. It's not passive resignation. It's an active, courageous acceptance. It's saying, okay, this is the reality I'm facing. And that acceptance frees up enormous energy.
Energy that was being wasted fighting reality.
Exactly. Energy you were using to hold that dam against the river. When you let go, you free up that energy to focus on what you can do, how you can move forward from here, how you can create your future within the current reality.
So connecting back, letting go isn't defeat, it's liberation. It lets you move with the current instead of fighting it.
It's opening your hands to see what the river brings next, instead of desperately trying to hold on to water that's already flowed past. It's shifting from trying to control everything to embracing fluidity.
Wow, okay. So as we wrap up, think about those strategies. Mindfulness, growth mindset, strong support, letting go. Which one feels like something you could lean into more right now? What's one small step you could take this week to practice embracing change just a little bit more? What a journey, huh? From an ancient Greek philosopher puzzling over rivers
to the edge of the expanding universe.
All to unpack those 5 simple words. The only constant is change. It really is more than just a saying. It feels like a fundamental truth.
And diving into it shows that this truth isn't necessarily something to be sad about, lamenting what we lose. It's more like an invitation to be more flexible, more resilient, more curious about what's next, more courageous when life inevitably throws us curveballs. It's a call to engage dynamically with life.
It reminds me, maybe as Heraclitus would say, that every ending is also a beginning. The river just keeps flowing.
Whether we fight it, ignore it, or accept it, it flows on.
So the choice we have, really, is do we stand on the bank, watching life go by, maybe wishing things were different, clinging to that illusion of solid ground?
Or do we find the courage, find the resilience, maybe even find the joy in stepping into the river and joining the dance, becoming part of the flow?
That's a powerful image to end on. The choice is ours. And this was another Mag Talk from English Plus Podcast. Don't forget to check out the full article on our website, EnglishPlusPodcast.com, for more details, including the Focus on Language section and the Activity section. Thank you for listening. Stay curious and never stop learning. We'll see you in the next episode.